Wow.
Yeah, we have it on a show because this is IoT Coffee Talk, baby.
Yeah, that's a show, all right. Wow.
Now, for our new viewers or for our young viewers who actually are the TikTok generation, this is a lighter to light cigarettes. And when we used to go to live rock show, we'll light it on and we'll hand it in front of people instead of using our cell phone to take pictures. So just giving some explanations here.
Yeah. You come to IoT Coffee Talk for history, cultural history.
Exactly. What are cigarettes? What are lighters? What's all that? I've never even heard of that. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
Yeah. What it is holding in your hand something else on a cell phone. It's more than
Yeah, you're right. Wow. The world has changed, hasn't it?
It has.
Yeah, dude, your lighting is awesome, man.
Yeah?
Yeah. Maybe we should just hold IoT Coffee Talks and we should record ourselves in cars.
Well,
maybe it should be about cars. Yeah.
You actually look like you're ready to go on a road trip, and you actually also look like you need one, man. You've been working too much.
Yeah, you're right. Oh my gosh. Yes, I need a road trip. That would be good. And so you think about the decline in smoking and the use of lighters. We've talked about the decline in the drinking of wine by younger people. They're now switching to either White Claw or edibles. And so it's tough for the wine market, and I don't know if the broader liquor spirits market is feeling any pain. I don't know.
Well, there was a theory a few years ago where, and actually there was a sign that the big, soft drink companies were having a challenge, because when people read, teenage times, they start switching to alcohol. So this is actually why they created all those Mule and, Red Bull plus vodka and all these kind of weird things. Now, I haven't really checked any studies if they've actually caught up on that market and replaced wine drinking, because that was a trend like about 25 ago. There was a lot of discussion about that, because the winemakers and the liquor industry were saying, hey, all those new customers we expect when they reach drinking legal age were actually not interested.
Yeah, I know it is interesting. I don't know if it's globally. I know in Washington State and part of California, wine is down like 15% decline. Wow. There are big time vineyards in Napa and Sonoma and Washington State where they're literally tearing out the vines completely.
That's sad.
And how sometimes, it's a free market and maybe people get too excited. And so I think we've oversupplied. I think we have probably way too many vineyards and way too many wineries. And so, sometimes that can be a problem. You've got too much supply chasing too few customers. And so, and usually these things work themselves out, right? Either the price out, and you would think that, you expect, like any other commodity, prices would drop when you have an oversupply. But then you've got a lot of these high-end winemakers that it's like, hell no, am I going to sell my wine for under $100? So it's a weird thing.
That's the issue as well. I think there's probably a the wine industry in the US is pretty weird. It's actually very different from the France one, because the France one is very, besides the exports, the pricey expensive bottle, it used to be very entrenched in the culture. So teenager will start drinking a little bit at home with their parents in the countryside. Yeah. You had this whole culture about wine that was actually dragging the consumption later in their life. And with people moving to the cities and also the change in consumption patterns, this has been dying. That's one of the reasons as well. So in France, you would start with very cheap local wines that you would buy the peasant on the right side, which were not necessarily extremely good, but they were not extremely bad.
Well, comparatively speaking.
Because then you go to
wine in France is actually.
Then you go to Napa. Good. You go to Napa Valley, and they try to charge you $75 for a bottle. That you're like,
Yeah, it's much better than $5 Chuck. Which,
Don't get me wrong, they are great ones, but they're a lot of overpriced ones. And actually, it's the funny thing. Actually, I have an anecdote on that, because I moved to the US to live in the US in 2007. And at that time, the sparkling wine by the Roederer, Mumm Napa, or thing like that, they were still very low rated amongst the community. So you could find them for $15, $12, $20, and you had like $45 for Veuve Clicquot, which is actually a scandal. People should go to jail for paying that. But now it has changed. It's much higher now. So because I was very surprised, because the quality, on the price ratio performance is very high. I mean, most of those sparkling wines are made by originally French producers, and because they didn't have any reputation, they were selling them for a much lower price. Now they cost probably triple the price. They're still good, but they've caught up on price a lot. So
yeah, that's really interesting. I remember, there'll be some winemakers talk, since Dimitri and I definitely live deeply in that world, and they'll say, well, the cost, we put so much more care into it, and the labor costs and all the stuff we had to do, and that's why the wine is so expensive. And they seem to sometimes forget that in a free open market, the market decides what the price is, not how hard it was to make, not how much labor it took, all the thoughtful care that you put into it, how many punch downs a day per hour were you doing when it came, all that crap. The market doesn't care. The market, it's like the price is whatever the market will bear. And sometimes people are in la land about that. It's not a fixed price thing.
Yeah, I agree. Usually the thing is, the only difference what you're saying, Rob, is when you start getting into the luxury space. And I think that there is definitely a kind of a willingness to position in the high-end markets, because people,
it's like real estate.
Yeah, people will justify, 50,000, 60,000 watch because it's made in Switzerland by hand and it takes 1 year to wait for it. So you're starting to touch another type of population. And I think this is actually what I was saying as well. There is no real mass market, cheap, reasonable quality wine in the US. At least not Napa Valley. There might be other places. Actually, the Livermore Valley I live nearby is more like that. And maybe some of the Oregon wines are more like that. But I don't know them very well. But I think in Silicon, in California, and you phrase that, and Napa Valley, I think there's really a chase towards the high end.
Yeah. So, before we go any further, remember, are any comments here made related to pretty much anything? I mean, investments included, especially from Rob.
Hey, it's a bloodbath on Wall Street right now.
Urgently.
Investments from Rob and politics for Dimitri should be avoided.
On that, Rob's on that note.
It's a bloodbath out there right now on Wall Street. Yesterday and today, it's just free fall.
Okay.
No bueno, man.
Debbie's going full Gen AI.
I love it.
I love it. Stable fusion.
And this is why the AI market is falling down. It's because Debbie is going AI. So.
I know the hell has frozen over. The shit has hit the fan. Just take us seriously at your own
risk,
peril. No, we've been elevated to beyond risk. It's like perilous. So we need to represent. And Yeah, we're just having fun, as you can tell, because we've been talking about wine like for the last 10 minutes.
But you have to admit, we've been talking about the business of wine
The business
as well.
Yeah.
And so it's not like this is still a business tech show, and we've been, keeping it real. And we've seen a lot of tech in the wine industry, right?
Yeah. And it's interesting to see what the adoption patterns have been, because you would think that the wine industry is such a logical place for deep investment in IoT, and it hasn't necessarily been the case. They still resort to a lot of the older methods of, reacting to microclimate changes and stuff. It's such a dynamic business, and it's. I wouldn't say it's as complicated as making semiconductors, but there's
no, it's not.
There is an art there, right? And sensitivity. It's almost like you're trying to produce something pretty refined, especially the high-end stuff, and you stuck the fab outdoors instead of having a completely controlled environment. That's the dynamic that the winemakers have to deal with is basically the elements, and in the fab, you're eliminating the elements, and you're using IoT now increasingly to, measure that and control that so that you maximize yields, right? Just like in the wine business, it's just kind of flipped.
It's a weird thing. You can't control Mother Nature, right? And which is why you saw a lot of move to that controlled environment agriculture, indoor vertical farming. Which we saw a lot of VC money went into that. Most of those have already gone bankrupt, which is unfortunate. It's sad. It's because of energy costs, and it's easy for me to say, well, cover your greenhouse in solar panels or whatever. But the energy cost is what kill. As soon as you try to create a controlled environment so that you don't, just like a fab, you have to factor in how much energy is it going to take to make all that stuff work, all that lighting and moving the water around, all that stuff. It's tough, man.
Yeah, it's weird. Now, of course, AI is more important than food. So,
why do we need water?
To some people, for sure. Well, we do need water to cool down the data center, Debbie. We need water not to drink. You can't drink water anymore because we need the water to cool the data centers.
That's right.
Hey,
Human needs be damned.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
It's idiocracy.
I have an interesting IoT story. Interesting IoT story I just saw on the news. Maybe you all have seen it already, but the Louvre had an IoT incident.
Really?
Where they the cameras that they were using, the password to the cameras were Louvre.
Well, don't get me started on that, baby. Because if you want to discuss what happened at the Louvre, I'm going to tell you the real secret. The real secret of what happened at the Louvre is that if you look at the strategy and the strategy of Paris as a city, is that you might think that cameras could be useful for order, to prevent stealing and those kind of things. Not at all. The major use case for cameras in Paris is parking enforcement. Because you make much more money going after people that park in the wrong place, which you made anyway impossible to park in Paris. That's what the mayor has been doing for decades now. And then you enforce that with cameras because it's easy to go after a guy that parks poorly and get him to pay rather to try to find an organized crime who is going to attack the museum. So, I mean, it's not just that there was a stupid password on the camera, it's that they just refuses to protect the thing. There was a steal of a sword 50 years ago, pretty much in exactly the same condition, except that they didn't use a truck with a ladder, they just used a scaffolding thing, but they entered pretty much through the same window, went into the same place, stole and went away in less than 3 minutes, 50 years ago. And the French learned nothing. We learn about doing wine, but we don't learn about that.
nobody,
Wow.
The ANSSI said it in 2014 that it was a risk.
Yeah.
And they just said, hey, I mean, we're not worried about it. I commented on that yesterday. and I mean, it was a typical thing. I mean, I just said that, they kept it, but 11 years later and some millions of dollars in crown jewels gone. It's ridiculous that we don't protect anything OT. I mean, irrespective of what that was, especially when you've already known that that's something that exists. So, I mean, it's like, one of the greatest institutions has the operational security of a Sherlock villain.
The other thing, the glass that was used to protect because there was into a encased glass thing. They reduced the size from impossible to break to totally breakable. Do you know why? Not cost. Oh, because the thick one was making the jewelry less appealable to watch through. That's the reason.
Yeah, I could see that kind of stuff.
Come on, yeah.
That's stupid, though. That's stupid.
Yeah, totally.
This wasn't Ocean's 11. This was Ocean's. Did you?
Oh no.
Museum's name?
No, any random person, any random group of people with guts can do that. There's no tech at all. There is just you just say, these people are stupid. I have the guts. I'm gonna do it. That's all you needed.
I think, Bill, when they said it was a risk, they went from Password 123 to Louve.
Yeah.
That'll learn you.
Like I said, it's Oceans. Did you try the museum's name? I mean, that's like one of the first things that people. That's like the lowest level.
But anyway, there was nobody watching the cameras again because they're too busy watching traffic enforcement issues and trying to make money. So it's just
they had some pretty big thefts, I believe, in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I mean, has no one watched Thomas Crown Affair? No one?
Oh, right.
Not recently, actually, but
yeah, it's too funny.
Wow.
So it's a disaster, that thing, because that's typically one thing that can, automation and technology could really prevent that, at least raise the bar high enough. So if it happens, it's an Ocean 11 type of things, but not just a bunch of
but
it is what it is. Just
what if they just disconnect stuff from the internet?
Yeah.
How about that?
Which is funny.
Wait a minute, but they were going backwards.
No, not really. Actually,
maybe we should go backwards.
Yeah,
we should. Maybe people got a little too excited about connecting OT to IT, and all those segregated networks became desegregated and open. And now, guess what?
Yeah, but that's it, right? It's the fear that, we're not seen as progressive. We're not seen as using technology. And it's like, not everything needs flipping technology, people.
Well, no, not everything needs to go to the cloud. And
that's the point.
I actually had some good conversations about this recently over the last 2 weeks. Is this idea that it makes sense to go Battlestar Galactica in a lot of instances, especially with generative AI. And, this whole topic of enterprise AI, the challenge is security and confidentiality, right? And it's very hard to maintain in the cloud with a distributed architecture because there's so many security potential failure points and threat vectors that it doesn't make sense, right? And so this idea of air gap and just having things local and managed locally and protected, that is becoming a bigger deal. And so it could be that
protecting it locally versus protecting it in the cloud, because I disagree with your statement that you're sure there are various attack surfaces in the cloud, but I mean, if that's the case, in the cloud is flipping useless.
No, but the thing is,
if you're protecting it locally, you're
it's
doing
not that it's useless.
The same things as you're using in the cloud.
I like this. I like it that we're not agreeing on stuff.
Yeah, it's fun.
No, but the thing is,
You know what?
The fact that the Louve's password was Louve, if that system wasn't connected to the internet, it wouldn't be that big of a deal, right? But
Right.
a lot of companies,
No, it wouldn't have been that big of a. It wouldn't have been that big of a debacle. It still could
right.
happen.
but that's the point.
How a lot of companies, they don't want to buy the licenses, and so they had one login. Everyone has the password. Anyone can do whatever they want to do, and that's like a bad idea anyway. Even before you introduce the cloud into everything.
But the thing is, you raise a great point, Debbie, I think, which is a thing that always fascinated me and is poorly understood, is the confusion of the technologies that is the cloud and the deployment business model. And what I mean by that is that the deployment business model has been, in order to save money and scale, we're going to put all those stuff on the internet. So it's accessible through the internet. But if you disconnect cloud infrastructure, the technology from the internet and run it locally, you can do very great stuff around it.
Yeah.
It's the internet is the connection that is the problem, because we fundamentally created the internet without, you heard me telling that on the show, without any concept of authentication, because it was created by a bunch of researchers that wanted people to read their paper, so they couldn't care less about authentication. So there is no fundamental authentication on the network. So no, it's true.
Yeah, the internet was not built for security, period.
No, you're right. You're right. There's no security built into TCP/IP. I've just had a weird thought about Mike Judge making another movie like Idiocracy. And in the movie, all of us and some of our IoT friends are all on trial. This is like some years in the future. And we were all on trial and we were getting convicted because we brought IoT to the world and it turned out to be the worst idea in the history of technology. And that everybody got hacked to oblivion because of IoT. They're like, how stupid were we with this Industry 4.0 crap? Industry 3.0 was just fine. Just if you want to see what the machine's doing, go look at the machine, or go look at the Windows 95 computer connected to it next door with a graph on it.
Maybe it's not that bad, because remember, hey, Rob, when you and I were at IoT Solutions World Congress in, like, what the hell was it, like 2016, almost 10 years ago. It was funny because you had a lot of operators going and doing security posture assessments on, on factories, right? Like in production environments, and they're going, oh my God, there's holes everywhere. It's not secure. They're not using secure protocols or anything, it's a disaster. But they were projecting their view of security onto a completely different operating environment. And so, and then you had this whole narrative, converging IT and OT, right? And then this, ginning up of a war between the two factions. And maybe that, to your point, maybe all of it was super misguided. And, to your point, Dimitri, yeah, and this is one of the funny things about cloud. People still don't understand what you just said. There's a difference between the technology and the operating business model, right? And how services are delivered and how resources are deployed, right? And the thing is cloud technology is making it down into edge environments. So an air-gapped environment could be cloud native, right? That's why there's this whole movement toward, Cloud RAN and Cloud XYZ, Cloud Native XYZ. And so it's not that you can't have the benefits of cloud technology or cloud native technology outside of these hyperscale environments, right? Yeah. And a lot of these fundamental questions that you're raising, those are the things people should ask. And does it really need to be, deployed in a hyperscale cloud across their, availability zones or whatever, right? And, the hyperscalers themselves, these cloud service providers, are finding that the edge is a bitch in every turn, right? And they really struggled to get that data up into the cloud.
Piece of this, though, is the physical security.
Yeah.
That's the main difference. But I mean, this debate, it's always funny to me because the reality is that computing will always be fundamentally distributed. There's no reason to have it totally edge or totally cloud.
Totally.
It doesn't work that way. So
I remember back in the day, Bill, I'm sure you can back me up on this. We used to have meetings about whether something to be connected to the internet. I'm like, do we not do that anymore?
No.
Because
it has become to a point that you can buy any physical object right now, and there is no freaking way you can make it work without creating an account somewhere on the freaking cloud.
You know, you're right about the should we connect to the internet or not, because Windows was a lot more secure before the internet. And as soon as the internet happened, all these networks, it got attacked into oblivion, you know? And gosh, what a brutal thing.
I disagree with that. I would say that thanks to what Bill just said, which is physical security was much more easier to enforce in Windows before the internet than it is.
Yeah.
Because you could enforce physical security. You could put a freaking big door in front of your computer and you can protect it for somebody going to mess up with his lack of security.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to tell you something that will horrify you related to the Department of Defense back in the early 90s running Windows 3.1 on, DOS machines, because that's what was around back then. Do you know what the security for it was? Having a password on the screensaver for Windows.
Oh, yeah.
That's security.
That's a good user. That's a good user experience.
It's all relative, because you know what? I was on a SentinelOne webinar. I was listening in. Dude, some of the stuff that's coming down the pike in terms of like the GenAI augmented cyber threats, which we've already talked about on IoT Coffee Talk long time ago. This shit is friggin' insane. You know, what is coming, the cyber criminal economy is being hypercharged and nobody sees it coming, right? Even though people are saying stuff, right? You go to RSAC, you go to any of these big vendor conferences, they're starting to put up that chart, right? That shows the cyber criminal economy is the fastest growing and it's the third largest in the world, which is probably underestimation. It'll probably get worse. But some of the novel attacks that are coming, man, these guys are just tapping into the power of generative AI, and it's force multiplying them beyond anything any enterprise is going to be able to protect themselves from, right? And so the threats are always going to be ahead, but the problem here now is everything is networked. The sharing of knowledge in the cyber criminal economy is so the friction has been taken out, right? And it's going to be friggin' scary as hell. And even individuals will not be able to ignore this. All of a sudden, trust, privacy, all these things we've been talking about are going to be essential, right? Because the threats are going to be so pervasive, deep, and disruptive. We're going to see entire companies go down, individuals get micro targeted and attacked. It's going to be friggin' scary.
It's beyond that. It's beyond that, because it's beyond the economy. It's also it's getting the area of government power, control of people. That's what also people don't realize. By the way, there are places where no, but it's the same. But it's the same tools. It's the same tools because
but it's the same tools that digital marketing people are using.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It is literally the same tools. It's just that in terms of efficacy, and benefit, right, and force multiplication, it's on the side of the cyber criminals.
Oh, it is absolutely. Yeah. Like, so if someone's an alcoholic, they're like, yeah, let's sell this guy more. Jack Daniels. because we want to make money and we don't care if he's alcoholic. You know he's going to buy our stuff.
Yeah, Rob, you and I are.
Oh, sorry.
Smooth Criminal. Yeah, that's such a great song, dude. We gotta do that.
I still live in the 80s.
Yeah,
I
you
still
do.
live in the 80s with Michael, so I'm sorry.
and Yacht Rock. But you and I, we were at Lenovo GIAC, and Doug Fisher, who's the chief security and AI officer, he got up. And remember when he talked about that new chatbot or whatever LLM chatbot thingy, Spambot or Spam GPT. So
Yeah.
we talked about probably a year and a half ago how at some point the dark web is going to have a LLM overlay and something like Chat GPT on top of it, so it democratizes access to all the dark web content, but then also allows, bad actors to just very easily design and deploy, attacks and scale them out. Dude,
Yeah.
it's happening, and it's gonna get worse. And then now you want to expose your business and operating environments to the internet. We're going to take a double take at this. There's no question, especially anything that's, business critical, or just mission critical, and critical infrastructure is going to be insane. So,
years ago, I used to I did a same post once a month, on social media across everything. I just said, hey, enterprises, please disconnect your company from the internet. It's not worth it.
Yeah, I don't know.
And
What was your conversion rate, Rob? What was your conversion rate?
Nobody listened to me. They were like, "Oh, that's stupid. I want to be connected, man."
No one's going to listen to us. No one's going to listen to this. They're gonna discount everything. It boils down to this: risk plus tolerance, right? So you can be aware of the risk, but your tolerance might be high at it, based on perception or
divided by ignorance.
Oh, there you go.
Well, it's all about maximizing greed. It's just the root cause. The root cause is there. So
what is it? Are we coming up with the equation for stupidity?
Got that, man. I was born with that equation. Yeah. So Leonard, you were just at IoT Stars a few days ago.
Yeah, we missed everybody.
How was that?
It was really good, dude. That was one of the best ones that I've been to. It was pretty packed. Yeah, it was a full house. And it wasn't a small venue. It was probably one of the bigger I think it was just as big as Estrella in terms of but instead of having half of the seats filled, it was all the seats filled.
Okay.
And it was weird.
Was that at the House of Blues?
Yeah, House of Blues. Yeah, in Anaheim.
Okay.
And it was weird to see all of our friends in Anaheim because we usually see them in Europe, right?
Right.
Austin was kind of weird. Anaheim was really, really weird. And it was a really good show, good showing, a lot of great conversations. So I think and I don't know. Everyone was telling me that embedded, that was probably the thing to be at, because embedded looked like it was pretty weak again. So. Oh
no, I didn't realize that. Okay, all right, that's too bad to hear that. Because you're right. Normally we think IoT Stars. IoT Stars is a Mobile World Congress thing in Barca, going on over 10 years now. And are we all going to be there this next February for Mobile World Congress?
I already have my hotel. I already have my plane booked.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So I'll be there. But IoT Stars is not going to be there.
What?
You didn't know that?
What? No.
No, it's now they're attaching themselves to embedded, and we'll see that whether or not they'll do embedded North America next year. But Mark told me that they're looking at starting their own event in North America, and so that should be interesting. So,
well, you know, another place that I think many of us are going to be shortly is a lot of us are going to be at CES in January. Yeah, yeah.
Don't say that, man. Yes,
Well,
I'll be there. I will be there. I'll be hanging out with you in the sphere.
that's right. That's right. And Pete's
going,
putting
right?
on stuff with the Edge AI stuff, and
Yeah.
I think we should do some kind of coffee talk or something.
You know we will.
Wait a sec. You know what? This really irritates me. You know what? IoT Stars is the jam, and losing it. Oh my gosh, we're gonna have to come up with our own version of that we can do other places like IoT Planets or something. If they don't have IoT Stars, I don't know.
IoT Metaverse.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. Yeah, but we got to do stuff live. You know, just like Olivier does with his IoT show. I love watching you on the IoT show there, Leonard. You were
Oh my god,
you were wasted.
I want to see that.
I know, dude. It was just off of one beer. I was just exhausted because in the morning, you know, I was at Cisco. At the Cisco event, and they pound your brain with like one session after the other, right? And by the way, that was a great event as well. The guys at Cisco put on great events.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, but yeah, man,
you were dropping so many buzzwords and words that didn't mean anything connected to other things during your talk with Olivier. It reminded me. It reminded me. Do you guys remember the show In Living Color?
Remember it,
brothers.
Yes,
I live that. Hey, look, man, homie, don't play that.
That's right.
Yeah. But remember the Wayans brothers would always do that skit where they would just start saying all these big words and they didn't even know what they're saying. That's what Leonard sounded like talking to Olivier.
Oh my god, dude, that's so funny.
He said synergy, didn't he? Yes, he did.
There might have been some synergy in there. You never know. There might have been.
Yeah. You know, the thing is that it's because of it's the influence of Matt and Crawford.
Yes.
Yeah, they rubbed off on me.
Fault.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
You know what else was going on was Smart City World Expo in Barcelona.
Oh.
Where you going?
What happened there?
There was a lot going on there. I think they said they had 25,000 people.
Wow.
No way.
Holy
That's huge. Wow.
You know, seriously, you have to go to Europe for any real tech conferences, right?
Well, that's because everybody wants to go to Barcelona.
Yeah. Well, that too, but everybody wants to go to San Diego too, so everyone should just have their friggin' tech conferences in San Diego. I think we have better weather. But anyway, Dimitri and I were talking about how, like, in the US, none of these tech conferences really do well, right? And they're shrinking. And it's because the big vendor events have sucked all of the oxygen out of the room. And it's something that we talked about at IoT Stars, because everyone was reacting to the very light attendance, at least on day one, of embedded. And so, I think that's kind of a problem, right? And it's actually a waste of time, because you go to these vendor conferences and then you're just really focused on just one Uber vendor and their ecosystem. The tech conferences that you have in Europe, I think, are really cool because there's more of like a balanced distribution of influence and content, right? You can and
I agree.
companies you can talk to. Anyway, But I think that's
right around this time of the year, I get conference fatigue.
oh, dude,
Yeah.
I'm so burnt out.
October was brutal. Is anybody going to reInvent
Yep.
at the beginning of December? Yeah, see you there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know I've said it before. We should probably all go in on like a condo or something in Vegas since it's our home away from home.
Yeah.
reInvent. Who puts that on?
That's
reInvent AWS.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
31st of what is it? I'm gonna be there on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm flying in on Sunday.
Thursday. Yeah, until Thursday.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's gonna be a long week.
A lot of content.
Yes.
And so much. Such a big.
Yeah.
AWS is so huge. It's like.
Right.
Even though nowadays, I don't think people see them at the forefront of cloud anymore. You know, they don't talk about the market share that they have as much as they rant on about, you know, quote unquote AI leadership. You know, the opinings of people who have absolutely no idea what they're talking about when it comes to AI.
Well, they're probably going to disclose the number of GPUs they bought in the past months. So, it seems to be the metric nowadays in AI companies. How many GPUs do I buy?
Yeah.
You know, Google keeps pushing on the fact that they think they're just doubling down and tripling down on their TPUs.
Yeah.
And they seem to say that their TPUs are better than the GPUs. And
my BPUs are better than the TPUs. So.
Well, and
my beats per minute are better than whatever.
Why don't we launch the concept of XPUs? You know, the convergence of everything. So
they already have that.
There you go.
They have capital XPU and then they have little XPU.
Yes, for cloud and for edge, obviously.
No, actually, it's different than that.
I'm the marketing guy. I'm trying to make that.
Yeah, micro architecture level, but
we've talked a lot about all the big tech companies, the AI companies, and all the supporting cast trading trillions of dollars between each other, and you're wondering what's real or whatever. But I contributed to an article. A bunch of guys were kind of blasting Oracle, and because Oracle is taking on a lot of debt in order to build out a lot of stuff, So it's and there were obviously they're trying to say the sky is falling, and if this thing doesn't work out, it could kill the whole company, and obviously analysts searching for headlines, right? And so I find it interesting. Some people actually have the cash on hand, like Jensen has cash on hand, and Satya does. But it's interesting to see other companies taking on billions in debt in order to meet the AI moment, as it were. This big gamble that everybody's betting on, right?
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't work out, some people will be gone from the annals of history overnight.
Yeah, and
others will be okay, but they'll suffer for a great while.
And we have to remember, and people don't seem to recall this anymore. When about the time that ChatGPT came out, there was a brewing financial crisis underway, and that was the Silicon Valley Bank crisis.
Right.
People forget that. They then took and a lot of that money, a lot of the VCs were funding AI companies. And so they needed a pivot. And so they leaned in at the time, you could tell, right? To create this hype. And then now it's like a fusion reaction. It went out of control, and it is still going out of control. And you talk to everyone above the AI infrastructure. There's no one making money on this stuff. They pretend that they're making money, right? They are not making money. In fact, most of the features, the AI features, you can't even charge for. It just has to be part of the product, right? And that should scare the shit out of every one of those VCs out there that is bankrolling the hype, this bubble.
Yeah.
And
I mean, the big companies can get away with it, right? Because like Google sent me a thing. Hey, here are these annoying AI features that we're gonna make you pay for. So we're gonna like raise your rate for whatever it is that you bought from them or whatever. But these people who aren't Google and aren't these other companies, they won't be able to do that. People are like, I don't want that.
Yeah, exactly. And that,
You know what you just said, Leonard. What did you say? Funding the hype?
Yeah.
That sounds like a great title for like a documentary that we do after the collapse of the entire economy.
Yeah.
And we do investigative reporting.
Documentary style.
Yes.
Documentary style. Yeah.
Yes. We interview all the people in Silicon Valley and Wall Street and everything. It's like you funded the hype, and here we are sitting on the ash heap of history, and it's like we're living in Cuba, driving cars from the 50s, because it's all over, man.
Yeah, I mean, that they jumped the shark already. It's just people don't know when these guys start like dipping into porn and adult entertainment. That's like the point where these guys are like basically resorting to selling, drugs, right? What's equivalent to drugs? It's the lowest hanging fruit. That was what hydrated the internet. And the aftermath of the .com debacle, and these guys aren't stupid. They know. Most of them actually probably worked at a lot of the .coms at the time and knew what was happening, the dirty laundry shit that was happening in the back, right? Which most people didn't know about. I know about because I was in the middle of that stuff, right? I was consulting and helping these companies invent their operating models, right? So, I got to see a lot of dirty shit, as a consultant working for these companies. And, these guys aren't dumb. They know. But, when you want to look for signs that shit is going down, just wait for the porn stuff to come out. And it's all over the place, adult entertainment. It's easy. Yeah. You get people addicted to it. People will pay. And
wait a minute, back up on that.
What?
You get people addicted to it.
Yeah.
The analogy is crazy as hell.
No, they know. It's like not. It's the way it is. It's the formula. You know what I'm saying?
But you know what? I'm just gonna go into in my next advisory session. I'm like, we're gonna use the porn marketing approach.
That's right.
That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell the whole crowd, hey, mind you, just listen to me. If you go
I would support Leonard. It worked for VHS. It worked for the internet. It's gonna work for AI.
Oh, yeah.
Bill's going to go, we've already tried all the other marketing techniques. They haven't worked. So here's what we're left with.
I'm just saying, I'm going to name it. I don't know. I had to find some porn star's name, and I'm going to name it that marketing approach.
There you go.
Right.
Hey, it sounds
John
stupid.
John Holmes, Bill. John Holmes. The John Holmes strategy.
Yeah, see, but he might be a little too far out there for people. You got to bring it. You got to bring it home. It's got to be.
How about Bill, the Dirk Diggler?
Yes,
exactly.
That's it.
Perfect.
That's it. The Dirk Diggler marketing approach.
I was on the right track, and they dematerialized it. Perfect.
That's right.
Yeah. No. Hey, man. I'm telling you. It's all about getting people addicted on stuff at this point.
Dude, do you know how far we could go with just the taglines on that?
Yeah.
The Dirk Diggler marketing approach. We don't give you a little, we give you a lot.
Maybe we should.
We're not in it for the short haul. We're in it for the long run.
Oh, man.
We should create our own marketing agency now. We're going to solve the AI problem.
Come on, Bill.
Yeah,
we're in the presence of a lady, dude. What the hell's wrong with you?
She started it. It was her genius.
It was her genius that came up with Dirk Diggler. So
Come on,
You know what?
what's wrong
Yes,
with
I can see companies now. We're migrating off of HubSpot to the new Dirk Diggler platform that actually works.
Oh my god. But you know what? See, this is like the, number one, it's dirty laundry, and it's the stuff that underlies like a lot of the stuff that everyone, thinks is, revolutionary. It's usually like dirty crap like this that makes things float, and it's sad, but that's how you know. That's how you know that at least the hype narrative is just all BS. It just boils down to Dirk Diggler.
Yes.
And
Dirk Diggler and Chess Brockwell.
Yes.
So we should pause and mark the time on Friday, November 7th, 2025 at 9:23 a.m. Pacific time. The Dirk Diggler strategy was born out of IoT Coffee Talk show. This is going to be on Wikipedia, guys. Or Gokipedia, whatever they call it right now.
If you work for another company, I do not advise you try this. But given the fact that I run my own, I will be doing it.
You're all in, buddy. I love it.
He's going to have that magical slide in his proposal decks, right?
Hey, watch. It's coming out on
We
LinkedIn.
use the Dirk Diggler.
It's coming out on LinkedIn. I will use it. And I will tell people, if you don't understand what I'm talking about, slide into my DMs and I'll let you know.
That's right. That's right.
Wow.
Oh my God. So funny.
Can't wait for the summary of this episode when you post it to YouTube, Leonard.
It's going to be called Dirk Diggler.
Episode.
Oh my God.
Bill's going to walk you through the Boogie Nights methodology of marketing.
The Boogie Nights episode might work, actually.
Oh my God.
I mean, that's just the beginning. That's to ease people into it.
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, I think, it's a series. So
It is a series.
Oh my
because
God.
Phase
seasons.
2 gets you to the Magnum approach.
See how effective it is? It's all innuendo.
No, when you said it, I was like, no way. Yes.
Yeah. Way.
Wow, man, we're gonna have to move this whole show to the dark web or something.
Yeah.
The dark room.
Yeah.
The red room. The red room.
Like when things get so ridiculous, it makes everybody ridiculous. So
It was like IoT after dark. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That does it again.
Wow, you're a marketing genius, Debbie.
Yeah,
oh my
Debbie.
God.
yeah. No, it is.
We can have the IoT dungeon too.
Dirk Diggler.
Oh my gosh. So maybe at CES we do a IoT Coffee Talk after dark.
Yes.
Live event.
The Dirk Diggler. Dirk Diggler edition.
In the
That would be
IoT dungeon. In the IoT dungeon.
Oh my gosh.
Correct.
Wow. I'm probably gonna get fired now. Oh my
You're
God.
not. You're gonna get promoted.
Yeah, totally. Totally promoted.
Come on, man. You were being innovative.
No, Crawford didn't matter. They're good peoples. They're not like.
Yeah, but they didn't hear the stuff that just went down right now. As soon as they find out about this.
It'll end up in one of Crawford's PowerPoint slides when he's presenting to.
That's right.
Trust me.
You'll probably call it the Boogie Nights strategy.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, look, something that I've learned in life: tell yourself before others do it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. No. Okay.
You can always blame Bill and I because we just
there you go.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
Exactly. See, my girl. Damn.
Love
See, that's what I'm saying.
Love
I'm
that.
from Chicago. That's how I roll. That's how I roll.
You're damn right. And see me, South Central, you know what's up.
No.
It's the gangster mentality around here.
Gangster.
Roll up. Roll up.
Exactly.
Hey, but the thing is it's the truth. That's the thing. I mean, you can't deny it. It's like, and one of these days, Crawford, Preet will get up on stage and he'll present the Dirk Diggler slide. Yes, he will do that.
You may not call it that, but that's what it is.
Again, we have to repeat. Anything that we say here, you take seriously at your own peril. Okay? Have to repeat that.
Danger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. We should probably delete this video, actually. It's like the burn after reading kind of thing,
No way. Are you serious?
No, I'm fine.
Yeah.
What could happen?
We just
I can feel your heart beating, Rob. I can feel it.
Just tell them the Data Diva did this. I've done this.
Blame it on her.
Exactly.
No, but I mean, honestly, this is like, it's kind of awkward and weird, but again, it's true. Just like cybersecurity, it's uncomfortable, it sucks. It's criminal, but it's a reality. And so is this stuff. It's just taboo, but it doesn't mean that it's not real. And I think what's delusional, what is absolutely delusional, is to think that it doesn't exist, or it isn't a problem, or it's not something that you have to factor into your thinking about how this technology will either be sustained or express itself in any kind of, value. Because I don't know, if you think porn and all this other stuff is valuable, then okay, there you go. But if you don't, and you don't think it's worth creating a self-inflicted energy crisis so that people can go off and, and do their stuff with this stuff, then, it becomes a problem that has to be addressed. But, to deny that it exists or refuse to have that conversation is, frankly, really friggin' stupid. Right. So, people got to get real. And you know what? The internet, this is what happened with the internet. And so, to deny it is, man, it was like, why? What's wrong with you?
That's exactly what happened.
You think like magic is going to happen?
Well, it is magic. AI is magic. Black magic.
Black.
Hey, I mean, look, to your point, Leonard, Rob, you put a post out, I think it was yesterday, because, I mean, whenever I see you guys posting, right, the very first thing I do is run to the comments. And you were talking 100%. About farmers and the IoT, and immediately people were jumping on, I don't know, I disagree. And I'm like, I swear I wanted to jump on and go, shut the fuck up, because you're just here to try to sell something.
Absolutely. Yeah, because you're right. I did have one guy, because you're right, it's other people who are in the game who are disagreeing. And I'm just like, no, I'm just passing along the voice of the customer. This is not my opinion. The customers are telling me this. This is what they said.
Yeah. Exactly. And they go, I disagree with you. You're not a resident expert. And be like, no, but I am a resident in the space, and shut the fuck up.
This is how companies go out of business, is they sit in their echo chamber and they all believe their bullshit instead of what does the customer want? What does the customer believe? That whole thing was just after years of farmers dealing and pouring money down a drain with science experiments of 100% custom IoT projects. They're like, I'm done with it. I'm not going to look at this shit again until I can go buy it off the shelf at Home Depot or Tractor Supply. As soon as everything else I use to run my business, I go to the store and buy it off the shelf, and it just works. Yeah. Your stuff is black magic, and I can't buy it off the shelf, and therefore I've already taken a lot of risk and poured a lot of money down the drain. Yeah. And so come back to me when it's off the shelf. I want to buy a shovel. I need to go buy a combine. I need to go buy a hose and a sprinkler system.
I have
I
other.
don't want someone to custom build me a sprinkler system. I want to go buy it at Home Depot.
And just drop it into my yard.
Yeah,
Totally.
yeah.
But you know, Rob, you and I discussed that so many times on this show. This is the predominantly limiting factor with adoption of IoT technology is the system integration obsession. As long as we get out of the system integration where you need complicated people designing complicated solutions that you cannot buy on shelf, it will never go outside of science experiments.
Yeah, and you know what?
Now, it is justifiable for big assets like like a jet engine or an oil refinery or an oil plant because the economies of scale on the economies are there. But yeah, for a farmer who just trying to grow stuff, if it doesn't work out of simple components he can understand and assemble and fix in the field, it doesn't work. So
Yeah.
on that wise note,
Yeah.
That's right. We just need off-the-shelf IoT.
exactly.
Look, man, all I'm gonna say is be your authentic self. I mean, it's the number one thing that I will tell anyone that's doing anything. If you are compromising who you are,
Yeah.
get the fuck out.
Yeah. And you know what?
run like
Here,
hell.
I'll say something about our show that I got, that I heard feedback, from people that I saw at IoT Stars. That's what they love about the show. It's like we're unfiltered. We're straight up, and that's rare.
I would refine what you said, Bill, because fundamentally it is really question everything until you find who you are. Because you might not know who you are. No, but it's true.
If you don't know who you are, you shouldn't be doing anything.
But that's 95% of the people in a society where you're bombarded by AI and by advertisement.
There you go. There you go.
I mean, I would draw a delineation line between not knowing who you are versus fear, uncertainty, and doubt, because that's a lot of what AI is right now.
Yeah. True. Okay, let's call it a show. So, who wants to take
a show to be forgotten?
Yeah. Well,
I think Bill should take us out.
Yeah.
All right. Look, you guys, it's been a wonderful time here. I've been gone for a minute, but I'm back. Trust and believe that I've been out there pounding the pavement and doing the right things. Nothing about this AI crap scares the hell out of me, so you shouldn't be scared either. Educate yourself. Listen to IoT Coffee Talk. Smash the like button. Share it with your friends. We're unfiltered, unadulterated, and yes, we believe in the Dirk Diggler effect. Trust me when I say that everything that you heard here should be taken and analyzed. Think about it first before you take any actions. All right. We're all here for elevate our kids has changed now, right? We are elevate our communities because that's what we need. We need a whole lot more of that. I want you to definitely give a follow to Debbie Reynolds. If you haven't done that yet, you are losing. All right. Listen to what Rob has to say. He's a resident expert. Dimitri always has a strong opinion. Pay attention to that. Leonard Lee is a man on the road. If he's there, you should be there. Listen,
That's
everyone.
There you can get run over.
Us again next week. And peace out.
Peace out.